sixth graders, tonight we are doing lesson 1.6, which is order of operations. We have one objective, and that is I can solve expressions using order of operations. So let's get started. So an expression is simply a math sentence that can contain numbers, variables, and operation symbols, but no equal sign. Variables are when you use letters like X's and Y's for unknown values. Operation symbols are simply the plus sign, the subtraction sign, the multiplication sign, and the division sign. But the key is it has no equals sign. So here's an example of an expression. We could say 6 plus 2 times 9. That would be an expression. It's got numbers, it has operation symbols. In this case, we didn't use a variable. A non-example would be 6 plus 2 times 9 equals 24. This would be called an equation because we know what it equals. We've evaluated it and found its value. Alright, so let's get into the order of operations. Let's say we have this expression, 7 plus 3 times 5. One mathematician might come along and evaluate it to say, well, 7 plus 3, that's 10, and 10 times 5 is 50. So I think this expression is equal to 50. Another mathematician might come along and look at it differently. She might say 3 times 5 is 15, and then add the 7, and she might say that this expression is equal to 22. Now mathematicians can't be coming up with different answers for the same problem. This would cause even a larger problem. So mathematicians needed to decide on the order in which operations were going to be done, so that all mathematicians would come up with the same answer. Hence, order of operations was born. This is an agreed upon order by all mathematicians of how they're going to solve expressions. They've decided that first they'll solve whatever is in parentheses, calculating what's inside them. Then they'll solve any exponents, like 5 to the second. Then they'll do multiplication and division. One doesn't necessarily come before the other. The multiplication and division is done left to right. And finally, addition and subtraction. And again, one doesn't come necessarily in front of the other. It's done left to right. So I like to visualize this order of operations as parentheses, then exponents, multiplication or division, followed by addition or subtraction. So let's put our PEMDAS, which is the acronym some people will say to represent the order of operations. You might also hear people saying, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, as another way to remember the order of operations. But let's put those order of operations into use as we evaluate the following expressions. Evaluating the following expressions just means solve them to make them equations. So we have 5 plus 3 times 2. I go through my order of operations. There's no parentheses. There's no exponents. Then I check for any multiplication or division, and in this case I just have multiplication. So I solve the multiplication first. 3 times 2 is 6, and I bring down the rest of the expression. Now I've isolated it to just be one operation. 5 plus 6 is 11. So this expression is equal to 11. The next expression is 12 minus 8 plus 5 times 2 in parentheses. So I start with my order of operations. Parentheses is first, so I solve what's inside these parentheses. 5 times 2 is 10, and I bring down the rest of the expression. I've taken care of parentheses. Now I check if I have any exponents. I have no exponents. Now I check for any multiplication or division, of which I have neither. Now I'm just down to addition or subtraction, and I have both in this case. But the order of operations says I do addition and subtraction from left to right. So in this case, subtraction comes first on the left. 12 minus 8 is 4. I bring down the rest of the expression, and now that I have only one operation, I can go ahead and solve. This expression is equal to 14 because 4 plus 10 is 14. The next one, I have no parentheses, I have no exponents, but I have both multiplication and division. The order of operations says I work from left to right. So I'm going to solve the multiplication part first. 25 times 4 is 100. I bring down the rest of the expression, and now that I'm just down to one operation of division, I can move forward. 100 divided by 2 is 50. This expression is evaluated to be 50. I want you to copy and solve the following 3 expressions in your notebook using order of operations. Press play when you're ready to check your work. So tonight we worked with order of operations, and by the end of this lesson, you should be able to solve expressions using order of operations. At this time, review any part of the video before taking your quiz at Schoology, and we'll see you next time. Down, down.